Chancellor, how does a university combine international reach, teaching and research excellence with social responsibility? Vision, energy, passion, hard work, all with a social conscience. These are indeed lofty aims, but it is exactly these ambitions that we should strive to achieve as academics and what you should aspire to as graduates of the University of York. It is with the greatest of pleasure that I have the honour to present today's honorary graduand, Professor Carolyn Bertozzi, who has epitomised these ambitions throughout her extraordinary career as an academic, researcher and teacher, notably at the universities of Berkeley and Stanford, all of which she has combined with a global reputation for leadership in equality. She truly embodies what a degree from the University of York means. In the early part of the last century, and then unsung Black scientist Ernest Everett Just published a book, only now recognised as a landmark, that highlighted the importance of the cell's surface and its dynamic changes for human biology and disease. Persecuted for his colour and race and passing away prematurely in 1941, Just never witnessed the development of chemical techniques to study the dynamic nature of cells. The chemistry of cells is so complex that tools to study them have only recently been developed, notably by today's graduand, Professor Carolyn Bertozzi. Through her brilliantly creative approaches, Professor Bertozzi pioneered the techniques that bring chemistry into living organisms. Her work has allowed the complex language of the cell to be decoded. She has enabled researchers across the rest of the world to visualize and profile biomolecules, chemical species that were previously thought intractable to experimental observation. This field is now known as chemical biology, and it is one that Carolyn Bertozzi has unarguably defined. She has shown that using the techniques of organic chemistry, complex biology in health and disease can be understood. Let me put this into context. When we think of chemistry, our minds naturally turn to glassware, solvents, reactors, perhaps to high temperature and pressure. But Professor Bertozzi demonstrated that one could conceive and implement strategies to perform really quite complex chemistries inside living systems, reactions at pH 7, 37 degrees centigrade. Not only that, but doing it in a complex sea of many different molecules with diverse reactivities. This is the field now known as bioorthogonal chemistry, a term uniquely associated with Professor Bertozzi herself. These techniques have extraordinary power to find out the truth about complex biochemical systems. In her own laboratory, Bertozzi has employed these chemical tools for the studies of glycobiology, a field with enormous implications for understanding and treating many human diseases. Our cells are coated with a layer of sugars, chemical barcodes that define the role and health of each of our cells. Why are these important? Well, for instance, these sugar molecules change dynamically during physiological processes such as cancer, and they are central to our infection by pathogenic viruses such as influenza, and of great importance today, COVID-19. Indeed, many of her inventions have been commercialized for diagnostic and therapeutic applications. Her products include next generation medicines such as antibodies, covalently linked to drugs, with applications notably in immunology and cancer. Indeed, aside from the day job, Professor Bertozzi has founded 7 biotechnology companies in the last 12 years alone. But there is far more to Carolyn Bertozzi than being a first-class scientist. Carolyn is a prominent member of the LGBT+ community. She is a passionate advocate for lesbian and gay equality. If you've not had the chance, I implore you to watch her Beacon Public Lecture in York, celebrating 10 years of Athena's Won Gold in the chemistry department. Entitled The Long Game of STEM Diversification, it's available on YouTube. For whilst the world sees Carolyn publishing world-class papers, being elected to the US National Academy of Sciences in her 30s, winning numerous awards, including this honorary degree, behind the scenes is a discordance. Initially, she was frozen out of the discipline, organic chemistry, for which she is now world-renowned, simply because she was a woman. She came out as a lesbian at the height of the AIDS epidemic and its then very ugly politics. She was part of the movement that protested for gay rights and for HIV funding. She's had to survive the various US bans on gay marriage, thankfully now overturned, being a wife and mother in some states, but branded a criminal in others. She persuaded funding bodies to provide equal healthcare rights for same-sex couples. Carolyn Bertozzi is one of the world's leading scientific visionaries, but behind the scientist is also a person, one who has fought her whole life for LGBT+ people to be treated with equal dignity and rights. So, back to my question, how does a university combine international reach and teaching and research excellence with social responsibility? First and foremost, it must focus on excellence. Excellence in teaching, excellence in research. But that must be built on a foundation of equality and diversity, creating an environment where all of our community can be themselves without fear or prejudice. Indeed, in his inaugural address, the Vice-Chancellor, Charlie Jeffrey, highlighted the aspirations of the founders of the University of York, a university that would target the improvement of the human condition whilst breaking social boundaries, targeting excellence regardless of class, creed, race, and sexuality. Carolyn Bertozzi epitomizes the vision and ethos of our university. So, Chancellor, in recognition of her groundbreaking chemistry to dissect the complex biology of cells and organisms, whilst challenging the inequalities across society, I have the pleasure in presenting Carolyn Bertozzi for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.